Hello, hello. Today we are talking about Regiments of Renown for the Ogre Kingdoms. As per usual, this is primarily geared toward domination, but this could help you out in land battle or campaign as well. So let's get started. First up is the Powder Guts, the Man-Eater Pistol ROR. So aside from their rank 9 stats that all RORs have, they also have this ability right here, Adaptive Tactics. When they're losing melee combat, they gain plus 24 melee defense and plus 24 melee attack. So this one's kind of a weird one. So these guys are, first and foremost, a missile unit. They're the pistol variant of the Man-Eaters. If you wanted a pure melee unit, you just go for regular Man-Eaters instead of pistols. So your goal with these guys is usually to have them actually, shoot. Which means this ability won't come into play if they're doing the job that you bought them to do. The other thing is, it's only when they're losing melee combat, and they already have a really impressive melee stat line. So there's not a lot of things that beat them in melee that can actually catch them. So I find for, they're like 1950, Man-Eater pistols as a unit aren't that great in general. So these guys, for the price, it's like, well, they're going to come up, they're going to shoot, and sure, they're impossible to shut down, but not that, like, many regular Man-Eater pistols are already hard to shut down. So these guys, like, it just feels like overkill. Like, this ability just, sure, if it ever goes off, it gives them insane melee stats. They already have good melee stats. It just feels like overkill with these guys. So, for the price, I'd usually pass on these guys. Next, we have the Sky Striders, the ROR Crushers. So, compared to the basic ones, they get two things. First off, they get 20% missile resistance, which is really nice when you're this big. I really wish I could, I brought a regular infantry over here just to give you a scale, but these guys are massive. So 20% missile resistance is really, really nice on a big cav like this, as well as frostbite attack and those rank 9 stats. These guys are an absolute terror. They are such a universal pick in almost every Ogre matchup because they're just such an unholy terror, especially when combined with Troll Guts healing from a great Mawcaster. Because, one overcast of this heal caps them entirely. So they just get so much healing. They're so tanky. They hit so hard. And they're one of your very few, like, dominant mobility tools. Because, like, the regular Mournfang Cav don't really perform that well. Crushers are fine, but these guys will beat up just about any large thing they come in contact with, and even do quite a number against infantry. So these guys, you see these guys in almost every Ogre matchup. Every time you see Ogres, you see these guys. They're just that strong right now. Next, we have the Stonehorn of Morn. This one's a little more interesting. So, in addition to getting frostbite attacks, those rank 9 stats we already talked about, it also gets this ability right here, Glacial Defense. So, for 21 seconds, you can have extra 60 armor and an extra 20% melee missile resistance at the cost of 25% speed. So, they'll bring your missile resistance up to 40% and your armor up to 170. That ability is actually really nice for what a Stonehorn wants to do, and what Stonehorns are usually used for is as that big distraction card effects. They just kind of run through the enemy lines, they cause disruption, they do okay damage, but mostly they're just there to absorb your opponent's attention, and often that means missile fire. So having that extra missile resist and armor when they're getting focus fired is really, really nice for a Stonehorn. Because that's kind of, it just leans into what they already want to do, so it's actually a really nice ability for a Stonehorn to have. A little on the pricey side, but it can still get your value back pretty effectively, especially against those more missile-heavy factions like Dwarves or Cathay. Again, this is another guy that's really, really nicely comboed with Troll Guts. So, those are the 3 Ogre RORs. I'll probably revisit this video if they add more in the future, but for the time being, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time.